Doing the same job and eating same meal every day can sometimes mess up with any normal mind. In such situation, the answer is obvious. No. I'm not talking about psychiatry. What I'm talking about is even much better. Travel. I don't say that I was pagal or anything, but all I wanted was some fresh air. So I started off with a mini solo North Indian trip. I had a lot of concerns regarding this trip because neither rooms nor trains were booked. In fact, I finalized my journey 2 days before the journey commences. However, I thought of starting my journey. I was also concerned about the weather out there because I was traveling to north and it was hot. However, I thought of starting this journey. Many of the life lessons I learned would meet me on the way. My first destination was Mumbai, and I stayed in Mumbai for 2 days to see around. The first place I went was the Gateway of India. So on the way, when I reached the Gateway of India, oh boy, such a beauty and elegance. And when I had done with the Gateway of India, I traveled to Elephant Island, which is around 11 kilometers away from the Gateway of India. And it was a beautiful place, beautiful island, lush green, and having a lot of Buddhist caves. One could go and visit all of them and enter into these caves to see many of the sculptures and engravings in these caves. One of the things you should be really careful about Elephant Island is that you should be ready to fight with the monkey menace. Many of them were really fighting for their water bottles because monkeys were trying to snatch them as it was really hot. And on the second day, I went around many places like LTT Lokmanya Tilak Terminal, a beautiful structure standing in its own beauty and elegance. As we see and read about Mumbai, it was elegant and it was glamorous. After 2 days of stay in Mumbai, I boarded my train to my second destination, Surat. Surat is a simple city which has got a lot of business going on out there regarding clothes as well as diamonds. I stayed in Surat 2 days and visited many places such as cloth market and monuments such as British Armenian Cemetery. British Armenian Cemetery is one of the most beautiful and most thought-provoking structures I have ever been to during this travel. I went around and saw more than 100 resting places of all the people, those who came from different parts of the world to India for the trade and different purposes centuries ago. My third destination was Vadodara. So I traveled from Surat to Vadodara after 2 days of stay in Surat, and again I decided to stay in Vadodara for 2 days. On the very first day, I visited the famous statue of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel on the bank of River Narmada. I traveled almost 90 kilometers from Vadodara to this place where the statue is situated, the tallest statue in the world. So beautiful, it was a breathtaking experience, except it was really hot. But when I visited, it was really scorching hot out there. Despite of all this, I really enjoyed climbing and having the experience of standing under the tallest statue in the whole world. It was amazing. It took me around 2 to 3 hours to see around the whole structure and learn about them. So they have really made it beautiful, not only the statue but around the statue as well. I could not go around all the places they have offered because of my time limitation. So if you are planning to go there, go in a month which is less hot, so you will enjoy more. And on the second day, I went around different places around the city such as Lakshmi Nivas Palace. Beautiful structure. I would always recommend you to go there because it is such a beautiful monument out there, and it is one of the biggest private residences in the whole world, even bigger than Buckingham Palace. So I went around and I was only able to film outside the palace, and we were not allowed to videograph inside the palace. Beautiful and elegant. So it was one of the most beautiful things I have ever seen till then. It was already about a week since I was on the road visiting different places, and I decided to travel from Gujarat to Rajasthan. So my next destination was Udaipur. Udaipur was my entry to Rajasthan, the land of kings, and it blew my mind away. So it was early in the morning when I reached my hotel room. Early morning when I got out of my hotel room, I could see the breathtaking picturesque scene out there. It was just on the bank of a large lake made by the ancient kings, and I could see the clear water and breeze coming out from that lake. I visited the city palace and the ghat which is situated near to my residing place. City palace was one of the most beautiful palaces I have ever seen in Rajasthan, and it blew my mind away. Huge and beautiful palaces. I would really recommend that you should go there and have an experience of how the kings lived centuries ago. After visiting the ghat, I decided to do a bit of a local purchase, and I purchased some of the miniature paintings which is special to Rajasthan alone. After visiting Udaipur, I went to Jodhpur. It was my second place in Rajasthan, and I just stayed one day in Jodhpur. And Jodhpur is known as the blue city because the whole city is painted in blue. And early in the morning, I woke up. It was no different. I opened my room window and I could see the whole city down below painted in blue. And I stayed whole day in Jodhpur, and I visited a beautiful fort called Mehrangarh Fort, and it was a beautiful, huge, elegant structure which was beautiful to the eyes and it was peaceful to the soul as well. And at the end of the day, as I was departing from the city, I hired an auto. The auto driver was so hospitable that he commented that he would feed me best food available there had he had enough time with me, and it was not mere his words. On the way, he cared to stop in front of a sweet house, and he even purchased a special sweet. It reminded me of the rasmalai. It was so tasty and sweet, and it reminded me of one simple truth: there are good people everywhere you go if you are good to them. It was such a beautiful lesson I have ever learned. And I visited my last destination, which was Jaipur, the pink city of India. As a matter of fact, the whole city is painted in pink. Well, kind of pink everywhere. I stayed 2 days over there, and I visited beautiful places like the city palace and other monuments over there. And I must say that city palace in Jaipur was one of the most beautiful palaces I have ever visited on the way. It was painted in pink, and you can have a look around how beautiful it looks. And I met many people, and I had opportunity to visit the local handmade cloth market where I could purchase some of the clothes from there. And it was amazing. Even though in plan I had 2 more stays, however, because of some technical reasons, I had to stop my journey and come back. Lesson learned: when you go for a big journey, carry a big purse. And this solo trip taught me a lot of lessons. The first lesson being, you can be your own best company. When I traveled all alone, I could find that I am actually mingling with more people, more strangers, and along with mingling with other people, I was having a good time with myself as well. So sometimes you need to enjoy the company of yourself. When you are able to enjoy your own company, you will be able to open up more to other people as well. The second lesson is that you can make friendship with a lot of people, even if they are strangers. In Mumbai, I met 2 persons I made company with, and with one of whom I had made a kind of friendship. Even to this day, he calls me from Delhi. I remember the auto driver who offered me a beautiful, delicious plate of sweet. Even though he was no one to me, he was so nice to me. I had no idea why. It reminds me of the fact that there are really nice people in the world. And that's the very reason you need to believe in the goodness of the people out there. The next lesson I learned is that there can be surprises on the way. I had a great surprise on the way when I reached in Rajasthan. I was walking to my stay around 3 a.m. in the morning, and there was a legions of dogs surrounded me. However, I mustered enough courage not to run away. Right, I knew that if I did that, it was not a good strategy to run away because I had a heavy bag and there were too many dogs to outrun. So I mustered my courage and stayed there. And guess what? Dogs left me unharmed. So there can be surprises on the way. Be ready to meet them. And finally, one more. When you go for a solo journey, you can select your own accommodation, your own food. You don't have to depend on anyone, right? If you go on a trip with your friends, you have to mind others' likings and taste, and others' opinion as well. So when you're a solo ride, you don't have to ask anyone's opinion. You don't have to care for anyone's liking. You can select your own food and accommodation as you like, and you can comment on anything you see on the way. And also you can subscribe to different things like this channel and do many more things like oops, oh my god,